I'm here with Hunter and Emily, who have not built a business around a product, but they've built it around an avatar. Can you guys talk more about how you're structuring what you guys are building?
So we specifically target truck drivers, and we have been able through Agent CRM to really niche down and build out, some amazing ways of reaching them and automations and pipelines to really take us to the next level in our business. So we specifically target truck drivers.
Why truck drivers?
Hunter used to be a truck driver, and he can speak more to that than me.
Yeah, just being a driver, just knowing the background and the pain points and what's missing, because a lot of people don't realize that in the trucking industry, there's only a handful of mega carriers out there that have thousands of trucks. There's only a handful of them. What keeps America moving is these small fleets of 5 and 10 trucks. So most of these people don't have enough employees to have group benefits, or a lot of them are leased on to someone where they're a 1099. They're not even an employee, so they're not even offered benefits anyway. So it's just a really good market for people that, first of all, they have absolutely nothing. And there's also a little secret. People are like, aren't truck drivers just unhealthy? Aren't they all just overweight, eating truck stop food? Well, what you don't realize if you don't understand the trucking industry is they have to have a DOT exam at least every 2 years. So if their
Oh,
cholesterol is way out of whack, or their blood pressure is way out of whack, or the diabetes, they'll take their card away. So they have to keep pretty decent health to stay in a truck.
gotcha. So now, when you were identifying the truck drivers, I've seen your guys' journey over the past few years. You started by just offering one insurance product, and now you're really building your business around being able to support them in everything that they need. Can you talk more about that?
So we're really heavy on the living benefits as well. What we have found, because we've taken the time to really niche down in our market, and we know those pain points. We know that most owner operators, they don't have healthcare, they don't have dental, they don't have
Mhm.
hospital indemnity. I mean, there's so many open and exposed avenues where it'll put them out of business. So just like Hunter and I, we own our own business, the same concept for us, right? When you're a business owner, sometimes you're the only one to call. There's not another person above you to call, so you got to figure it out. So we get to really be that person for them in every aspect of their business to make sure they're not exposed anywhere.
I love that. Well, one of the concerns I hear about niching down is that the market's not big enough. Now that you guys offer multiple products to the same person, can you share what like your average customer value was when you were just selling one product? Maybe now what that looks like now that you're offering more products to the same avatar?
Yeah, and I thought the same thing. Like when we really started working on this truck driver thing 5 years ago, I didn't want to tell anybody because I thought it's a small market. But once you really step back and look at it and you put it into a web browser and ask how
Mhm.
many CDL drivers are in the United States, it's roughly a million.
Wow.
But in the grand scheme of things, a million is probably not a lot. Like, how long can we sustain this? But what I didn't take into account is every driver has a family. Right.
Yeah.
Let's just say every driver has 3 kids. Well, now you went from 3 million or 1 million to 3 million people, right? So now we're helping families, not just the driver. We went from only being able to help them with life insurance. And now that we have access to all these ancillary products and health insurance and Medicare too, there's so many different things that we can do. I was
Yeah.
talking to Emily the other day. I'm like, we could literally run an ad Medicare for truck drivers. Just because there's a lot of truck drivers out there that don't have an agent, there's a lot of drivers out there that they're in their 60s and 70s and they're still driving. They need somebody to help them.
Yeah.
And
So before, when you were building your business around a product, you had a really good idea of what the commission would be. And let's just use a round number and say every sale would bring in $1,000 commission, right? Now that you have multiple ways to support that same truck driver, you still have that $1,000 commission that you could sell them, but you also have these ancillary products. How much higher has your per customer value gone now that you're adding more lines of insurance to help the same person?
how this even came about is I was kind of doing the presentations and Emily was the application department.
Mhm.
So I would get them sold, get the package picked, and then transfer it to Emily. And I had a guy tell me one time, he's like, my budget's $150. So that's where we left it. I found him a life insurance package for $150. I transfer the call to Emily. I can hear him through the wall talking about $200, $250 a month. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, I even went there, I'm like, that guy told me he was at $150 a month. She's like, yeah, but now we're talking about these other things. And that's when the
Nice.
light bulb went off. And I was like, the budget goes up when the value goes up.
We really stack it per driver. I think the biggest thing revenue wise is we got out of the box of a one-time payout. You know, when you're selling life insurance, you're going to get a one-time payoff of these clients. Yes, when you go and cross-sell something else, you're going to get another payout. But now we're at the point where we're getting renewals on these drivers as well. So not only how we teach our agents, right? Your life insurance is your right now money, but when your retirement, when you're building, that's the health side. So now we're able to not only have that one-time payout of commission, but now we're getting renewals. And then every time that we're doing their reviews, because Hunter and I really focus on the missing pieces to the driver, we're able to offer them something else. So we're constantly able to make sure that their family's taken care of and that they're truly taken care of while they're driving on the roads. Because in the beginning, it was just an IUL, which IULs are great, right? But
Yeah.
there are plenty of gaps in an IUL. We all need more than just an IUL. But these drivers, they don't know that. That's our job to know. And so when you get stuck with one product, it's great to get good at one product. But once you can learn a second product, it takes you to a whole nother level in your business. And not only are you doing the best thing for your client, you're putting them in a much better position. You're also going to get paid for that as well. So
I love
our
that.
clients value, honestly, like it's hard to say because now we're in a position we can literally walk out the rest of our life with our client instead of a one-time transaction.
Wow. So you really uncovered my next point here, which is, yeah, your marketing and that initial, tip of the spear into that person is because they're a truck driver. But once you're in the door, once they see you as the trusted agent, now you have access to their family, you have access to their friends who aren't truck drivers. Like you're really building a relationship. What does that look like for you guys once your foot's in the door? How do you really expand that relationship to get even more business, not with just their family, but also their friends?
Well, you got to realize that it's like any industry. They all have other friends that are in the exact same industry. That's your first referral point. So regardless if it's truck drivers or if it was insurance agents, if someone sold something, they sold us agent CRM,
Yeah.
right? We're like, hey, everybody needs agent CRM. And this is why, because it's what it's done for us. It's the same thing when you niche down, because once you're able to bring value to somebody, not just cover I understand life insurance, right? We all need a death benefit, but something that they can use while they're alive, that they're tapping into, that they're going to have to use. I mean, we pray that they don't, but the reality is at some point in their life, they're going to have to use the benefits that we've sold them. So once you're able to do that, the referral, it just starts coming, whether they own a fleet, whether, their friends are all working in trucks. We've had drivers text in their work group text, hey, they just helped us. And all of a sudden, all these people are calling and we're like, I don't know
Nice.
where they came from, right? So once you take the time to really niche down and you can protect someone and you know their pain points, the referrals are just, it's much bigger than just, hey, I want you to protect my friends and family. Hey, I want all my drivers that are driving, that are exposed, to be taken care of the right way. Hey, I want, my brother owns this fleet. I want you to not only take care of my brother, but I want you to take care of all of his other employees. So
Nice.
it's just a whole nother level that, Agent CRM has truly helped us uncover and be able to reach these people because we're not a huge operation, but with the automations and things, Hunter can drop into our CRM just, hey, who's looking for dental insurance? our phone's going to ring like crazy just from something as simple as that.
I love that. I love that. Let's put the coaching hat on. Pretend that I'm an insurance agent now and I have been focused on selling a product rather than selling to an avatar. How would you help me identify my perfect client avatar to market towards in the same way that you guys have chosen truck drivers?
I would first begin to ask you what your background is, because you having a background and having knowledge in a certain industry is really what's going to help you take what we've built. So in Agent CRM, we've built out an income protection bundle. I've taken one of your bundles and just completely dismantled it and made it for our industry. So income protection is what we do. So whatever your background is, that's what we're trying to do. And I'm not saying that if you don't really have a background in anything, that trucking is not for you, because there are people that have come into trucking and just crushed it. So Eric Thomas came to 8% one time, and he said that before he goes somewhere, like he was speaking to like T-Mobile or something. He's like, I know nothing about this company, but he researches everything about that company before he goes and speaks. That way he knows the pain points and what people are going through. So you can definitely learn it if you don't have an industry that you came from.
Nice. Now, when you fill out the customer avatar sheet for the insurance agents that you work with at Niche Masters, what are some of the things that you have them identify about this new avatar that they're wanting to work with?
Well, we have to make sure that, number one, they have to really know the industry. It doesn't matter which one they choose. It would be like if someone came to you, Alex, and said, hey, I've been selling insurance for so long, and then you ask them a very simple question and they have no idea.
Yeah.
You're like, well,
Right.
what state are you licensed? It's a very basic question. Everything is going to go off and you're going to know that they don't really know what they're talking about. So the same thing, whether it be a truck driver, a teacher, a nurse, like if you don't know how they speak to people, you don't know how they interact day to day, you're not going to be able to reach that customer. No matter how much product knowledge you have to take the time and learn the industry you're trying to reach or the niche you're trying to reach. And people can tell when you're just faking it.
Yeah.
And it only goes so far. It's like, at some point, you've got to be the professional. You have to own that. And if you're going to try to target market and you're going to go after whatever industry you choose, you got to know what you're doing, because like the trucking industry, they're ruthless. They will call you out so fast and they will know that you are full of it very, very quickly. And believe it or not, Alex, some of them are not as friendly as we are, right? And they're quick to let you know about yourself. So it's like that in any industry. You still have to do the work. You still have to do the research. You need to know how they speak to people. What are their worries? What are they out there while they're at work? What are they concerned with being taken care of in their life? What is that? Then once you can do that, then you're getting closer to be able to even have a conversation. I can't help anybody if I don't know what the problem is, right? I can't bring you a solution. So the biggest thing is if someone's watching this and they're like, oh, I can do that because, my family was in trucking and I know a little bit. That's not enough. That's where people fail. That's not enough. It's maybe a great start, but that's not going to put money in your bank account. You've got to dig and you got to do the work.
Yeah. Hunter, you made an video ad that's, kind of legendary in the niche marketing space of you on the side of the road. Others have copied it, but it hasn't worked very well because you have that knowledge of the industry, kind of like a doctor, and you're able to give a really specific prescription to the truck drivers that come into your world because you speak their language. But the others that have tried to copy that exact same ad haven't had the same success. And I think it points to what Emily said. It's because they don't actually know the language of the truck drivers. All they're doing is reading off of a script from an ad that they saw you do. But once they get those people on the phone, now the truck drivers can call those people out. And they're like, wait a minute, you don't actually know my industry. You just had a catchy ad. Whereas when they talk to you, yeah, the ad was really catchy. You did a great job on it. But they can tell right away, this guy actually knows what he's talking about and knows exactly what I'm going through. So when you're talking to somebody and you've helped them identify that avatar, let's talk about the marketing as we wrap this up. You had a very specific marketing plan for truck drivers. Can you talk more about that and then how others can use that same plan to target their new avatar?
Yeah, it really comes down to meta. You have to become the machine, right?
Mhm.
So you have to think about what you're dealing with. You're dealing with people scrolling. And this is what I visualize is these truck drivers, they park their truck at night, they go eat, they shower, and while they're talking to their wife, they're scrolling, right, as they're talking. So what is it that's going to stop the scroll?
Yes.
So it's all about their industry. So me, I shoot videos. We don't use any graphics or, static images. It's all video. And I always go to a truck stop. There's always a truck in the background. If it's a cool truck, even better. But I've shot some on the side of the road as traffic's coming by like crazy.
Yeah.
So that's what catches their attention. If there's a truck in the background, or I'm dressed like a truck driver, maybe I just have on a ball cap and, a button up shirt, that catches people's attention. They're like, what's this guy got to say? Because he's my people, right? And I tell people, like, if you're going to do construction, you're blue collar. If I was going to shoot a video, I'd probably go to a construction site. If I was a
Nice.
realtor, I would probably be either inside of a beautiful home or I would be outside of a home that's being built, right? Because that's my audience. I'm trying to attract realtors. Realtors love to look at homes. That's the whole reason they got into real estate. So if you're inside of a beautiful home pitching, they're going to stop the scroll and they're going to be like, what are they talking about? So that's just my mentality. And then also on the client side, understanding the client, right? You can't just say I'm going to market to nurses and then somehow you're able to get inside a hospital or a clinic and shoot a video or outside the hospital.
Yeah.
And then you start calling the leads and you're like, these leads suck. And I'm like, well, you have to think like nurses work 12-hour shifts. They probably don't look at their phones for that whole 12 hours. Truck drivers have a headset on and they can talk for hours.
Yeah.
So we have to understand what our clients are doing on the day to day.
I love that. You guys, this was so helpful for those of you listening. Figure out who is my client avatar that I can build a business around. You're not limiting yourself. You're actually helping your marketing get that much more effective by speaking directly to the person watching the ad or seeing the graphic. And then once you're in the door, it can become so much more business. So Hunter and Emily, thank you so much for taking the time. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you at the next Power Players event. Thank you for watching. Please take notes, please take action, and subscribe. You will not get any value from the lesson you just got unless you implement it in your business. Please share this episode if you got value from it, and I'll see you online.